Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. My name is Nefertiti, and you can find my information in the description box below. Welcome to Self-Love Sunday. And in this video, I have a couple of channeled messages, and I'm also going to talk to you about how I work with the fairies, the fae, the elementals. This is a channeled message that I got, and this is going to preface a couple of other channeled messages that I've been getting over the past couple of days. As we all know, June 2021 was a very intense month. We had the eclipse season, Mercury retrograde, a lot of planets making harsher aspects. So there was a lot of transformation, a lot of shift, a lot of upgrade in the month of June. This is a timeless message though, but I just wanted to kind of give this video some context. So the first message I got was either make the changes or accept the towers. So we're kind of at this critical point in the collective awakening process where people are really being presented with two choices, right? Either you move forward or you continue to cycle around in that fear until you make the changes. Because collectively, we don't have a choice. As a planet, we are moving into higher dimensional energies, higher dimensional realms. So we all have to make this journey at some point. And we can resist it all we want to. We'll just keep getting the towers, the triggers, the awakening moments in our life. And it's really our choice. We can trust our intuition, and it doesn't have to be that difficult, right? If we can get past the fear and really trust that we're getting guidance from spirit. Now, that requires a lot of inner work. You have to clear out the density. You have to clear out the fear, the doubt, the illusions, all of the impressions that people have put upon you, even the well-meaning people, so that you can get to your truth. Because you do know what to do in any given moment, but it could be that the answer is being muddled or concealed, if you will, by illusions. So this requires work, right? It's a journey. Self-work is a journey. This is something that we will do all of our lives because there's always higher levels to get to. And this doesn't have to be a competition thing. As a matter of fact, it can't be when we're talking about spirituality and ascension and awakening and spiritual growth. It's all about growth, right? That's the purpose of us being here on this earth school, is to evolve, is to allow our spirits to expand. So when we're talking about the circumstances, the situations in our lives that occur, that are challenging, that are difficult, that force us to change, chances are we've gotten intuitive hits about that situation way before anything happened, way before that tower moment came in, before that storm energy came in. We knew what we needed to do, but we allowed our fears to stop us. And remember that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. But God will not interfere with our free will choices. Because again, that's why we're here. We're here to learn. And we learn through our choices. Do we choose to trust ourselves? Do we choose to trust in the divine? Do we choose to trust our path? Or do we choose to stay small? Do we choose to stay stuck in fear? Do we choose to not move forward and just allow life to kick our fucking ass until we finally get it? And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be hard all the time. But it can be if we choose that. So I would encourage us all in the month of July to continue to do shadow work And shadow work is not scary. Shadow work for me right now is a lot of journaling. It's a lot of meditation to 396 hertz, releasing that fear and guilt energy, allowing those emotions to surface, allowing myself the time and space to cry, to process old emotions. For me, shadow work means always looking at my triggers, my tower moments as times of reflection. How did I contribute to this energy? What is life reflecting back to me? It's so easy for us to blame somebody else for our struggles, our problems, our difficulties. And while that person, that situation may have initiated the struggle for you, that energy was already there, right? You guys know I talk about the analogy of the orange a lot. When you squeeze the orange, only orange juice can come out. It doesn't matter who does the squeezing. So if you have fear energy inside of you, anxiety, complacency, procrastination, a lack of self-worth, this was already in you. So it doesn't matter what person, circumstance, situation did the squeezing. That's shadow work. And it doesn't have to be frightening. It's just about seeing what's there. Because when you don't know what's there and it's holding you back, it's just constant frustration, constant, you know, two steps forward, 5 steps backwards, because you're not getting to the root of the issue, which is not acknowledging your shadow most of the time. Or Lithia, which is celebrated, the actual holiday or the pagan holiday itself is celebrated between June 20th and June 25th. But this marks the beginning of summer. And for me, this has always been an excellent time to connect to the Fae. Now, I've had the fairies in my energy all of my life, and really all year round, but I feel like I have more communion with them in the summertime because, for one, they really like summer fruits, and, you know, all the flowers are in bloom, the sun is out. There's just a higher vibration in the air with summer. So just to give you a little information about the fairies, and this is based on what they've told me intuitively and some of my research, the Fae are primarily 4th and 5th dimensional beings, which means they're not that far off from us vibrationally. They also have emotions, just like we do, and they value things like respect and taking care of the environment, acknowledging them with offerings, keeping your home clean, things like that. Fairies are very fun and youthful and can be little tricksters too. And like I mentioned earlier, they demand respect. So please only work with the fairies if you have good intentions. I'm going to say that again. Only work with the fairies if you have good intentions. I like working with the fairies to get work done, housework or even office work. You know, creativity is a big thing for them. They love working with people that work with children or just any type of creative or inspirational or healing art or profession. Working with the fairies is not as hard as people think. You can simply ask them to come into your home or garden. But again, be prepared to give them reverence and to trust the guidance that they give you. You can leave them little gifts too. They love honey, but it has to be organic. That's just what they told me. They really don't like conventional fruit with the chemicals and the GMOs. You can even build a fairy altar in your home or in your garden if you really want to get intricate, if you really want to provide a place for the fairies to reside in your energy. And there's lots of ways you can do this. You can explore Pinterest. They actually sell ready-made fairy gardens on Etsy too. Fairies also love flowers, the bell-shaped flowers especially, like foxglove and fairy finger, lily of the valley. They also like herbs like rosemary and basil. Fairies love crystals too, like clear quartz and amethyst, really any type of shiny crystal. What I often do is give them the crystals that I've used for a long time or they've cracked or something like that. They seem to like those as donations because they can play with them, and I don't mind if they get lost or anything like that, because the fairies, when they are being mischievous, they do take things of yours. You'll lose your keys, or you might trip on a rug that they flipped up, and that's only, again, if you kind of slight them a little bit or disrespect them. They're just, funny. They're comedians. I used to hear them laughing in my energy when I was younger, and I'd like trip down the street, or if now I know it was the fairies, if they're intuitively telling me to clean up my room or to be nice to my siblings or something like that, and I didn't, something weird would happen, like just some kind of bizarre accident, and I could hear them laughing, and I knew it was the fairies. Later on in life, I finally admitted that to myself. But anyways, fairies also like music too. So when I leave for the day, I'll put on 528 hertz or anything that they intuitively want to hear while I'm gone, and that just helps them to be happy and helps them to feel like they are a part of my life, just providing them with comforts. So there are lots of different types of fairies. I personally work with the brownies for organization, and the pixies and gnomes, they'll help me with my plants and keeping a whole foods plant-based diet. I'm currently in a position where I don't have to pay for any of my food. So if I'm having, fantastic, a problem with blocked inspiration, I call on the sprites if I need help with my creativity, or just procrastination. If I'm having, the sprites are great for a problem with blocked inspiration. Now there are some members of the Fae Kingdom that I do not work with because they just don't have good intentions, or their energy is weird to me, or their vibration's a little bit lower, right? So these are leprechauns, the red capes, goblins, boggles, trolls, and banshees. These are specific members of the Fae Kingdom that I do not work with. I actively release them and banish them, because when you call on the Fae, you have to be specific, right, on who you're working with. Especially leprechauns. Just a little side note, if you're a single lady and you work with fairy energy, make sure that you're not calling on leprechauns, especially if you're trying to date. And this is just my personal experience. When the leprechauns are here in my energy, I tend to attract weird older men. And I like older men. I'm not opposed to dating an older man, but I don't like weird ones. Weird in a bad way, right? Just odd, bizarre. So take that if it resonates, all right? And if you have children, fairies love children, and you just have to set some boundaries, like they'll bother your kids at night, or they might even encourage your children to do something that's a little, bad, or maybe encourage them to misbehave. But you'll intuitively know if this is the fairies or not. It's just a certain vibe they give off when they're doing something that's a little sideways. And anybody that's worked with the fairies knows what I mean. You'll just kind of sense like, okay, you guys are up to no good. But that means that either your intentions are off, there are members of the Fae Kingdom that are not what you want. They're not, the energy is not what you want to work with. They're not necessarily negative. It's just not what you want to work with. Or it could be something else, right? But I just wanted to make this video to talk to you about the fairies, because I feel like they're going to be a huge part of this world rebuilding itself and really becoming more conscious of the environment and of the planet, and how we really need to take care of ourselves on an individual level, our homes. Basically, the message of the fairies is to tend to your corner of the garden. All right? All right. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I look forward to speaking to you again really soon. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.